Good job, man. Nice.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the newest edition of the Playbook. Usual suspects here. Aiden Schoeff, Colin Cimino, your hosts. This episode alongside Coach Dollar once more. The Bulldogs are still undefeated as they took down Elmwood Park last week with a final score of 67-8. So we're going to jump right in here and talk about that game a little bit, Coach. So Jaden Barrett got in there with a touchdown.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Braden Novak saw more limited time out there at quarterback as the Bulldogs took care of business early in the first quarter. Defense and special teams got after it as well. John Evans, the GOAT, got in there in the end zone as well, which was awesome to see. One of my close friends. So what did you see from your guys this past week against Elmwood Park that impressed you the most as you clearly took care of business?
Yeah, I mean, it was staying locked in. Obviously, we knew what we needed to get done to be successful Friday night, and throughout the entire night, they were staying locked in. The sideline was staying locked in. What I was most proud of was, some of our starters who were starting to rotate out towards the back of the half of the game. Them being locked in and them helping out their teammates while they're out in the field. Like, if you would watch kind of when the defense would get done on the field and they come off, like you saw Brian Rampilla sitting there coaching everybody up, being one of the biggest cheerleaders out on the team. And I just think, total team effort was there, and we did what we needed to do to win. So very proud of them.
Yeah, so the matchups after this one, obviously Elmwood Park, you took care of business, like I said, but the matchups after this, super important. You're heading into really the home stretch of the season. You got West Chicago this week. So what are you doing to maintain that, mentality that you've been running with all season?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's we know that we're putting ourselves in a great position, right? And obviously we're already qualified for the playoffs, but we know that we got probably our two biggest games coming up these next 2 weeks, right? And obviously the focus is on what's going on with West Chicago. They had our number last year. Pretty much dominated us on every phase of the football game last year. So we know that, we got to be locked in. We have to have a great week of practice, which we've had so far, and going out there and, doing our best to physically dominate on both sides of football. That's kind of what we're aiming to do, put us in a great position to play playoff football. We know that, West Chicago is going to be a playoff team. Glenmar East is going to be a playoff team, and that's just going to get us ready for the playoffs coming up.
Yeah, so I mentioned John Evans scored a touchdown this past week. And sure, it's against, I guess you could say, a lesser team, but do you think seeing the team score on special teams has you excited and boost your confidence in that department of the football field?
Yeah, I mean, special teams it's a third phase of the football game, right? Like, we got to make sure that we execute on that whatever unit's out there, we have to execute. And I think, this year we've done a good enough job to help put our team in a position to win, but I think seeing some success by our kickoff return team, even though it wasn't by one of our two key return men, John being able to take that, field it, hit the seam and get going was a great look for us. And now it's going to take all of our opponents to kind of respect what we do on those units. And I talk about it every week that special teams is an opportunity for us to make a big play or for us to give up a great play. So we got to make sure that every unit that's out there is executing their fullest potential, because we got to win the field position battle. Whether that's us pinning them back deep on a kick or a punt, or us putting our offense in a great position on the field to be successful, or taking the 3 points to the next point. So we got to make sure that we're executing on all those phases.
Yeah, I think teams see 59-point win and they're like, well, okay, this team, they can get it done. What do these games sort of prove to your future opponents about you guys? What do you think?
Which games? The games
following this one.
Oh, this one? I mean, yeah, it's
when they see you guys won by 59, it's a pretty big score.
I mean, yeah, I think they have to respect the fact that we can put up some points, and I think they have to respect the fact that we get after on defense, right? Like, we create turnovers. I think we have a turnover in every game so far this season, and I think it's just the fact that we have the ability to score. We have the ability to stop our opponents. And I think, coming up to this week, it's making sure that we are putting on film, the kind of team that I know that we are.
Yeah. We're going to move into the next segment here. Talk about playoffs and 6A rankings as it is that time of year. We're heading into late October, early November, so some exciting things ahead, hopefully for the Bulldogs as well. We'll kick it to Colin here for the segment.
Yeah, no, super exciting time. Coach, big congrats to you guys and the team entering the 6A IHSA rankings. You guys slide in at number 10 this week. It's a huge accomplishment. Of course, you guys are 7-0. You guys look great. You guys are currently behind East St. Louis, Naz, Glenwood, Fenwick, Dunlap, Central, Washington, Wakanda, and Lake Zurich.
Some big teams there.
They are really big names. And how does it feel to crack the 6A rankings for the first time this season? And what does this recognition mean to the team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's nice being recognized for all the hard work that we put in, right, and all the hard work that our guys have put in. And I think, we've kind of taken it throughout the whole season that, people are going to underestimate us. We know that last year we didn't put our best foot forward, and, that's going to show, and people are still going to doubt us and still kind of, think less of us throughout it, but the fact that we're finally getting recognized to be in the top 10 is a great feeling. But we're still not satisfied. There's still a lot that needs to get done. If all we're playing for is a week 8 preseason or top 10 ranking, then I don't know what it is that we're doing here. So there's still a lot that we need to work towards, and the season's far from over. So it's great to be recognized by the state, and then probably puts a little bit of guessing and has to make our opponents take us a little more seriously. But at the end of the day, man, we play our style of football, so it's great to be ranked, but at the end, we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And being ranked at 10 behind several powerhouse programs, how do you keep the players focused on improving rather than getting caught up in these rankings?
Oh, they know. I mean, it's something that we talk about every day. I don't think it's anyone feels like hey, we've made it, or we're here, right? There's still 9 more spots that are ahead of us. So, and again, we know that all this ranking stuff is great, but we don't know where we're going to be seated after the playoffs. We don't know who our opponent's going to be, and our focus is on what we got to do that week and continue to improve and continue to get eyes on us. And we welcome it, we bring it on, but we know that it's always the next game, it's always the next practice, it's always the next thing to keep our focus on, so we don't get too caught up in it.
Yeah, absolutely, that's great, because I know you guys don't go around knowing many of the football players here, they don't go around flaunting it, they're very humble about it.
Yeah, you don't hear in the hallways at all, so big props to you guys.
Absolutely, and at 7-0, what have been the biggest keys to your team's success this season?
Yeah, I think I've talked about it before. I just think it's how close this team is, right? I think it's how much every guy is pulling for the success of everyone, right? I think you can look at it from starting quarterback spot, which I know we've talked about throughout this whole season, that battle between Bubba and G. But the way that those two guys pick each other up, no matter what situation it is, right? I don't think there's a guy that greets the other one faster on the sideline or after a touchdown than those two guys. So seeing them pull together, seeing just our defensive unit, how they swarm to the football, seeing how our linemen follow the play down the field and they're the first ones in the end zone. I think it's just the brotherhood that we're seeing out of this unit that's really made the difference. And the fact that everyone knows their role and accepts their role and does it to the best of their ability to make sure that at the end of the day, the team success is all that matters. Individual accolades, all that stuff is nice, but we worry about our team wins, and that's biggest focus. And I think that's been the message all year from our team. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. And how do you plan to maintain this momentum and prove that RB belongs among the top teams in the class of 6A?
We're going to keep working. That's it. Every day we show up to work. Every day we go out there to practice. It's the same mentality. We don't change too many things up. We keep a very rigid schedule. Our guys are still lifting and getting after. I think when we had one of the best lifts of the season last night before our practice.
Okay.
And I just think it's continuing what it is that we do. We don't let the standard slip ever. If you come out and you hear us coaching, we're coaching just as hard as we did in the preseason. So we always know that there's stuff that we have to improve on. We know there's always stuff that we have to clean up, but our guys are hungry and they want to keep going out there and keep delivering on Friday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, congrats, Coach. And now we're going to kick it right back over to Aiden to talk a little bit about their upcoming matchup against West Chicago.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap things up here with this segment here this week for the Playbook. We're going to look into West Chicago's matchup. Make no mistake, they run the football, Coach. Their next player is Carter Naranjo. He played his sophomore year in 2023 on varsity, but according to Max Preps, which is what we're going off here, he missed his junior year. There was nothing showing up on file for that. For undisclosed reasons, that being said, he saved his best season for last through 7 games this season. 182 passing yards. He seems to be their quarterback, 3 passing touchdowns. But in the rushing game, he has 95 carries for over 800 yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. So the kid can find the end zone. Their leading receiver on file is Jonathan Ocampo. He's got 9 receptions for 138 and 2 touchdowns. So this team is clearly less focused on their passing game, it seems to be, right? What will it take to have to stop another strong team on the ground? When we looked at earlier in the season against Elgin, you went against a team that had the likes of Lemarin Powell, who going into that game had over a dozen yards per carry. So what is it going to take from this defensive front, particularly your front 4, to get the job done again tonight and really set the tone there early?
Yeah, no, physicality. That's it. If you look at their style of offense, they run the veer, which is something that, that's their identity. That's what they do. They want to overpower you. They're big up front. They're physical up front. They're nasty. That's the kind of lineman that you want. And when you have a dynamic quarterback like they do back there, they're going to put the ball in his hands. We got to beat them up front physically. We got to rally to the football. We can't rely on one guy to try and make this play because, again, whichever ball carrier they have back there, they're shifty, but they're powerful. They're strong. So all week we've been focused on, trying to beat them physically up front, trying to beat them to the gap, beat them with some of our speed that we have up front. If we can do that, man, good things are going to happen Friday night.
Yeah, so this West Chicago team is 1-3 in conference this season. For you as a coach, in terms of conference games, do you feel that extra sense of pressure when heading into those matchups?
I don't know about pressure. I think it's the fact that we welcome it, right? Like this is now our home. We're in the Upstate 8, and it feels great to have a home. After the last couple of years, we've been bouncing around from conference to conference to conference. So being able to be in here, know like these are going to be teams that we're going to be seeing for the long haul, right? Like these are matchups that we're going to have for a long time. And being able to solidify our place in this conference is huge. So like we know that kind of our week 2 non-conference games, our weeks 1 and 2 non-conference games. Those are kind of getting us ready for conference play. Like what we were focused on, again, we have the opportunity right now to win the conference championship. So I don't know if it's pressure. I think it's welcoming it and knowing that, we didn't have our best showing last year in conference, and we want to kind of rectify that and show out and ball out Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been great at showing those teams who you are, your identity, and I have no doubt that that'll continue to wrap this season up. So what would this mean for you guys heading into a huge matchup to wrap up the season against the 6-1 Glenbard South team that's currently 4-1 in conference?
Glenbard East.
Glenbard East, excuse me.
Well, I mean, again, we're focused on what we got to do tomorrow night against West Chicago.
Of course.
But, we got to take care of business then, and then we'll focus on what we got to do against Glenbard East. We know that they're obviously a very talented team. They've had a phenomenal season. They're very well coached. But we got to, take care of business first and foremost, and then, take care of business going into week 9, and then, set ourselves up for the playoffs. So we're focused on 1 week at a time. We know, obviously, the bigger picture's at play, that we still have a chance to win this conference championship. But, all that doesn't really matter unless we take care of business tomorrow night. So we have it in the back of our minds, knowing that, the opportunity is there. But in order to, win conference, we got to win tomorrow night too. So that's what we're focused on.
For sure. I mean, you hear it from Coach Styler on this show every week, 1 week at a time, and it's worked wonders this season so far for this football team. The 2 Glenbards got me mixed up. But Bulldogs took care of the first Glenbard team. We'll see if they can with the latter. That'll do it for this episode of The Playbook. I'm Aiden. Colin alongside me. Coach, thanks again.
Yeah, baby.
And we'll see you next week. Hopefully the Bulldogs take care of business tomorrow night against West Chicago. Thanks, guys. Take care.
There you go. Good job, man.
Thanks.